Welcome to another episode, Middle Ground with JLE, L.L.C, where we treat you like family. That is the theme song, Detroit Love, off my first album, The JLE Experience. Go check it out. Only music and copyright, so don't be on Facebook. Always got to say that. We got another great guest for you in the season 11. We have a fellow Wayne State Warrior strong up here, and North Carolina State University assistant professor. Make sure I say it right. Dr. Ariel E. Seay-Howard.
Seay-Howard, yep.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here, and I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate you for willing to share your journey.
Yeah,
absolutely. First question, what led you to this path?
Oh my goodness, it definitely wasn't what I had in mind. I did not think that I was going to be a professor when I was younger. Growing up, I actually wanted to be a chef. So I did that journey. I went to Mott Community College in Michigan, Flint, Michigan, and I received my culinary arts degree there and cooked in some restaurants, helped open two food establishments, and doing all of that, I was actually going to Oakland University in Rochester, Michigan, and that's where I received my bachelor's of arts. And I was taking communication classes because that's what I was going into. That was my major. I fell in love with the human side of communication, like understanding how humans communicated with each other, but through like the race component too. So how do we communicate with each other, like, and that don't look like each other, basically. And I was really interested and still very interested in just different cultural customs and values and traditions and learning all of that. And so after like a long journey, I would say I came to the realization that I actually wanted to teach this type of discipline and teach in this field and get paid more than I would just at a K through 12 educational system. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to go and actually get my doctorate probably to do that. And so I ended up going to Eastern Michigan with the encouragement of my husband, because he's an Eastern Michigan alumni. And I ended up going there for my master's and then going to Wayne State for my doctorate. And so it was just a weird journey. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't something that I was planning to do, but I'm happy that I ended up where I'm at. And it's literally my purpose. It's where I need to be. I'm doing exactly what I love, and I'm so comfortable in it too.
But, you can be real. You can't even get the game from Wayne State. We got
right. I'm so happy I went to Wayne, though, for my doctorate. It was the best place.
Wayne give it to you.
For real. I mean, it was rigorous. But it was definitely the best place for me to do my training. Seriously. It prepared me for where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm. Now, they might give you some bull jive in the beginning. They fix a lot of that.
You've been Wayne Stated? Is that
what you mean? I got a hold. Do you remember Helen Newberry Joy Building on Anthony Wayne?
Yeah.
You used to have to go there, get a ticket, and go see somebody on why you got a hold.
Right.
We don't know why. Lady, I'm a week out. What are you doing? What you mean you don't know? Somebody better tell me something why I got a hold of my.
Right.
I'm here
for gosh. How many tickets we have? It's ridiculous. We have. I'm like, they're very good at their job. That's for sure.
It's cool they changed that up, put everything at the Welcome Center.
Yes, absolutely.
Even though they moved out Z's place, that was a dope. That was like our Cheers on the corner.
Yeah.
But it's still open up to quick. Go check them out. Some real good food.
I was in Manoogian a lot, though. That was where my department was. So I was kind of over in that area more.
Yeah, that building. I worked there for midnight shift, man.
Okay.
You got cold at night.
I believe it.
Being there working, listening to music. What's up? Hey, y'all came in here doing y'all cheers and y'all stepping. Get out of here. Nah, man. I just mopped this flow, and y'all go to General Electric. Get out of here. You make me mad. I just mopped this flow.
I was in there from like at 6 to 8 at night teaching or being a student, because I had to teach all day because I was graduate teaching assistant, and then I would have to take classes. So I'd be in there until about 8 o'clock at night, and those were about 12-hour days. I would say they were so long, but it was cold at night in there though. So
that's
I know what you're saying.
Finish my music management degree.
Yeah,
I would leave at 6 in the morning, go to Manoogian, when I'm in the old room. I
Yeah.
can go to the piano room, go take a nap, because I don't know why all the music stuff start like at 9:30. Like, you can't get none at 8 o'clock, man. Okay, whatever. And being there all day, by the time I got to choir around 1, I'm with the bassist. Like, if enough people come today, hey, look, I'm dead tired. I need y'all to stand right here. Put my seat right here.
I'm gonna take a nap.
No. Being that boy nap. He just finally caught on, like, you mean I was like, hey man, I'm grinding, dude. I'm trying to get out of here.
Right. That's true. You got what you gotta do.
Yeah. Then I dropped out and came back and came corporate. Like, music management, same as business management. Man, I should have been. My homeboy did tell me but I was like, man, what you talking about?
Right.
Didn't listen to him.
Yeah.
Probably could have got done quicker, but they teach you the game, man. People that's out there doing and talking to you, like, wow. Y'all get one of their credit on that one. They make sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Can't sit there and teach you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is an assistant professor and what is their duties different from a professor?
Yeah, so this is like more of an entry level position. So usually it's your first time actually on the job as a professor doing the work and not being a student anymore. And so my duties right now, I was lucky enough to, like, with North Carolina State University, they've just given me a 1-1 load, which is I'm only teaching one class per semester this first year, which is really nice because that gives me time to still do my research. And since NC State is also an R1 like Wayne State, like I was saying, when I was in the grad program at Wayne State, they did a really good job of teaching us what it's going to be like when you are actually on the job. So what they care about is usually service, research, and teaching, but research is usually number one since it's an R1 research one university. And so like that's essentially what I'm doing. I'm working on my research still, and then I'm also teaching my one class, which is a race and communication class. I'm enjoying it. The students are awesome. It's a very heavy topic, and a lot of the students have never even.
What is that about?
So race and communication is basically how I'm teaching it is we're looking at different ways that race has been communicated through society. So whether that be through the media, you know, like how images have been constructed of like the Black community or different other communities, and how that communication through that medium has created these actual belief systems for our society, and that essentially is one of the reasons why we treat people the way we treat people, is because we've seen it on TV, we've seen it in the media, and then we start to believe it, and then we interact in that way in real life too. And so that's one of the things I'm teaching them. I'm looking at different theories, so like double consciousness by W.E.B. Du Bois, and just other types of theories, because I think it's interesting to look at these different perspectives through those different perspectives. You can understand race in these different ways. And so each week it's different. Like one week I'll have hip hop. So how is race being communicated through hip hop music, you know, jazz, like in other forms of music, you know, like we're going to of course be listening to Marvin Gaye and other people though too that have brought their consciousness and their belief systems in music and have communicated that to our society, and that's sparked social movements and other kinds of resistance, ways to resist for the Black community and other communities. So that's like in a nutshell what we're going to be doing.
That's dope.
Taking them to, yeah, right. Like it's pretty cool, and you know, a lot of these students have never even heard of these different concepts, ideas, and it's really cool to be able to introduce those to these students because they're going out in the real world. This is seniors, so this is an upper level class. These are seniors, and so they're heading out, either going to grad school or they're going into their jobs. And for them to be taking, I call it this metaphorical toolbox with these metaphorical tools that I'm giving them into the real world, they can hopefully help solve some of these issues or help, you know, close the racial gap and all of that we've been dealing with.
Now y'all gonna cover Pac as well in there? Because he definitely talks about it.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. I'm excited for that week.
Yeah, I remember a music class. We had to listen to all type of different music, and I had to listen to was it Me Against the World or Dear Mama?
Yeah.
That's Simon. I'm like, I'm just
Changes. Changes is a good one too.
yeah. Who Do You Believe In? That was a dope one from all
Yeah.
the Machiavelli mixtapes that came out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't say Wayne did a good job of when you had a group project, they made sure different coaches were in each group.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, that's important. And that's what I want these students to be taking away from this class as well. How can you communicate with people that don't look like you and be comfortable about it? But then also, how do you know when to leave an unproductive conversation as well? Because I feel like a lot of times we'll have these conversations about race, or people will be talking to other people, and this hot topics come up, politics come up, all these different things, and people want to get into a fight about it. They're not really listening to the other person. You don't have to be persuaded by what this person is saying. You can at least we can agree to disagree, or we can just listen to them and be like, okay, that's your perspective. That's where you're coming from. I get that. This is mine. Okay, cool. And just learning a different perspective, right? So that's what I want to teach them, and I want them to be able to walk away with those tools, basically.
That sounds awesome. Now, my big bro Doug want to know, how do your students respond to folk and country messages?
Oh, it's so interesting. I was just watching this. Do you know have you seen Explained on Netflix? Have you ever heard of that show? It's like it's kind of like a series, and it's called Explained, and it just explains like different things, like explain time, explains ice cream. Okay, stuff like that. But today I just watched one that was explain country music. Okay. And it actually made me think about incorporating country music in that section that week that I talk about music, because obviously we know country music and even hip hop is very connected. And also it derives from so many different cultures as well. And I want to be able to talk about that and talk about the origins of it too. So I haven't talked to respond to the person that just asked. I haven't done that yet. I haven't talked to them about it yet, but I definitely am going to be interested to see how they respond to it when I do bring that into that week.
Because I know that CD our teacher gave us in music class, World Appreciation, it was called.
Yeah.
It was an Asian folk and country singer.
Interesting.
And the music was dope. I'm like, I like
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was.
You be making this. Okay. I rock with it.
Right. That's why I love music too. And I teach with music. Actually, I always have like how I start my class is I'll have like an instrumental genre playing. So the other day I had instrumental reggae playing, and or I'll do instrumental indie rock playing in the background, and it actually shifts the energy in the classroom, I believe, and it makes students feel more comfortable, because it's kind of like this comfort that's there for the moments that could be silent. There's music playing in the background. And even when I have my discussion days, I have it very low and I play it while we're having our discussions. And then when my students break off into their own partners and groups to discuss my prompt for the day, I'll always be playing music. And I've always taught that way just because I love music so much and it's a comfort for me. But I've noticed the way that the students act and their behavior starts to get more comfortable. They feel like they're talkative more, and they're just like enjoying the conversation more too, because it doesn't seem like it's this serious thing with this silence in the background, and awkward silence could be a thing. It's not like that. So I do that, and they seem to enjoy that.
Okay. Now, have you heard of Damien Escobar?
No, last name sounds familiar. I don't.
Oh my goodness. Shout out to that dude. I need to get him on the show.
Okay.
He's a violinist that plays to R&B and hip hop stuff.
I love that. I love it.
He always comes to the Retha now when he's in town.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I was wondering, maybe I've seen him play, because when me and my husband, we lived in Detroit, we would always be down in Detroit with we're just seeing different, the free events, Beacon Park and all of that, and all the different parks and everything. We'd just be down there all the time. So I'm wondering if we might have seen him. I'm terrible with names though. I'm so bad. I'm good with faces, and I hear the song, I know it, but the names sometimes I'm so bad.
You look up Damien Escobar. I know I first heard when he did Adorn. That song that was out, but he did instrumental. I'm like, wow, Leon, like, what's that?
That's awesome.
Oh, this dude dope. I gotta check him out.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll look them up.
Okay.
I'm always adding
Now,
new
Doug
people
has
to.
a controversial question, but I guess it's worthy. How does the alphabet movement affect the race conversation?
Okay, so the LGBTQIA plus community. So I have brought it. I bring it into the conversation because I like to look at race from an intersectional point of view. So I'm always looking at it from like gender, race, even age, all of it. And I talk about it from the perspective of our black trans people, what they're experiencing too, especially when in terms of violence, police violence as well, and just violence in general, and how it's not talked about a lot or anything. And so I like to incorporate all of it because I don't want it just to be this white and black binary that I'm talking about, where it's just, oh, black people were the oppressed, white people were the oppressors, that's it. But there's so much more involved. Like black women had certain experiences that black men didn't have, or, Vietnamese community had certain situations that they went through, and Asian communities as well. And even though, Vietnamese and Asian are very in the same, very similar. But it's very important to look at it from all, like Latinx community as well, what they've been through as well. Because a lot of communities of color have been through very similar racial violence or oppressive issues. It's just from a different perspective and a different experience. So yeah, I'm always incorporating this idea of intersectionality into my work that I do and in my class.
Should nobody be picked on because you're different? It ain't hurting.
Well, you're human. That's how I view it. I'm always saying we're human and we should be able to live our lives the way that we want to live our lives, as long as they're not infringing and hurting other people. It's just do you. I'm not going to be in your bed at night with you. I'm not going to be going home with you at night. Like, live your life, do you.
Yeah. And I've had conversations with some people like, well, you don't get like, dang, that's not affecting my life. And it ain't cool for you to attack them because you don't agree.
Right.
I might not agree. You like grits and hot dogs together. Should I be
right.
Absolutely. Like, well, no, okay then. So you see how stupid what you're doing sounds because you don't agree with what they're doing? That's their business.
Yeah, but I also think too we need to talk about it. I don't think we need to be approaching conversations also with like this idea of color blindness, gender blindness and all of that. Like we need to understand that there are issues going on in these different communities. And if you see something, say something, right? Like don't act like you're just not seeing what's going on. Like if you're in a situation where you feel safe enough, you need to say something if you see something.
You're supposed to do what the Bible say. Love thy neighbors thyself. Even though people go to church all day and night, but don't come out there acting like that, which kind of jacked up, in my opinion.
Yeah, constructing certain things for their own belief system, basically. Yeah.
We all bleed red. Now, Doug got another question. You're on fire with this one. How does the gender role affect? Yeah, the gender role affect the
race conversation.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think looking at it, well, I introduce it to my students as it's a social construction. So gender is something that has been created by society, and we do apply certain concepts and ideas to it. So for instance, the most basic one is pink for girls and blue for boys. My friend actually just told me about the situation. She has a daughter, and her daughter she had dressed her daughter in blue. And she's a baby. She's just turned 1 year old. She dressed her baby in blue. And a woman came up to her and was like, "Oh, your little boy's so cute." Oh, wow. And she's like, "Oh, thank you that my daughter is just turning 1," or whatever she said, but she made it clear that this is a girl, not a boy. But it's because exactly, it's because it's so constructed in our society that these are the colors that are associated with gender, that that's the first thing that she thought, hey, that's what this is. But I also talk about like the mass incarceration issue with Black men, right? And so this is a gender issue. Historically, Black men have been looked at as criminals. They've been sexualized and they've been seen as these people that are basically just creating harm onto white women and white people and just people in general. And so I talk about how that gender plays within the mass incarceration issue. I talk about how like gender also with women, especially women of color, how they've been seen through this image of fetishization, which is this objectifying of women. So that's when you only look at specific body parts and you make them the whole. That's the whole of that woman. So see a Black woman and you see, oh, it's her butt, that she should have this particular kind of body and this butt and whatever. And if she doesn't have that, then a lot of times people are like, oh, you're not even Black, or you're this, or you're that. And so it's like the idea of race being this thing that you can take away if the person doesn't have what the person perceiving the other person thinks that they should have. So I talk about that as well. And with interracial marriages, because I see this other question he has.
Yeah, that's all
I'm actually in an interracial marriage. And so I think, so of course I'm going to bring this into the conversation, but it's not something we like hone in on or anything like that. But I do talk about how people have seen me and my husband too together, or how me being with someone who is non-Black, they might not take if it's like a Black man seeing my relationship, they might not take my relationship that seriously. So stuff that I've experienced myself, but I haven't gone too deep into that with my class or anything. But that is my own personal experience. And I know other people who are in interracial relationships experience similar things as well. And it's constantly kind of trying to defend yourself, defend your relationship sometimes. But, you know, it's just the world we live in.
Man, look here. When I was a kid, Captain Kirk was my role model. If she purple, green, and yellow, and ain't nothing wrong with her, what's happening? How you doing?
Right. Right. Honestly, I think if we all opened up our minds a little bit more to dating, just not just in our race, but other people, people would probably find love a lot quicker.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And definitely your class, that's very interesting. I know in that music appreciation class, he asked us a question about, was Africa a country or a continent?
Oh, wow.
And I think everybody said it was a country, like, no, it's a continent.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
no,
sure.
it ain't. And he had to prove it to us. And then he asked, like, okay, is it a poor continent, country, whatever?
Right.
Yeah, it is. You know, they always got them commercials late at night, like,
yeah.
Like, no, they got rich kids, like, what? Like, see how the files, he called it, you put in your mind from what you see, what you hear. That's the first thing that pops up, that comes to in your mind when you pull it out. Black people, oh, they're violent, or white people, they're racist. Because you just got them files just instantly gonna come out compared to the world should be like a circle.
Right.
Learn from each thing. Like, oh wow, this dude.
Like
I mean, I can tell, like, you smoke weed, that sounds like some dope stuff. Smoking weed to make you think about it. I like how you said it though. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Doug. Okay. Doug, I got another for you. How does the passport bros conversation affect the race conversation?
Meaning, I wish I had a bit more context with that.
Well, with the manosphere out here, with Kevin Samuels, all the people talking on behalf of Black men, a lot of brothers have been getting the passport and finding more support and collaboration with other cultures in all the different Dominican republics and stuff. So they labeled them passport bros.
Oh, okay.
How do those people affect the race dynamic in conversation?
I think that it's all a part of, it's all a part of the conversation. It depends on, I think, who you're even talking to about that specific situation. And, that even extends globally as well. That's not just looking at it from this United States perspective. That's just domestic, I guess, within the United States perspective as well. So I think that it kind of, you have to look at it too with like all the different experiences. So you have Dominican, you have African American, and you have African, right? And so it's very different, and the experiences are extremely different. And I think it's more of looking at it from a cultural perspective as well, instead of just like this is just like race. So it's ethnicity. You have the two differences. You have the ethnicity and then you have race, and ethnicity is more associated with the cultures, values, traditions, all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's interesting. I like to learn more about it because I don't know too much about it.
Yeah, and Doug probably would love to be in your class. He got another question for you. How does religion affect the race conversation?
Yeah, religion is definitely something we'll talk about. I think it is very interesting with religion because with my my research, I have learned a lot with how religion impacts and has impacted Black people, specifically like Christianity, and how that's impacted people and Black people. And I think that it's something that we all need to be learning more about. But I do think it is interesting how, African people, when they were forced to come here, they also were forced to lose their names. And that's in part because of this Christian religion during that time, and who was in really implementing that type of belief system into the people the African people, Black people that were forced to come over here. And so, like they lost their names and they became these Christian white names, and like Joe or Anna. And they didn't have their African names anymore, which took them away from their culture and their religion and all of that. And so they were forced to learn this new way. And even with Native people too, with colonization, that was the same thing as well that happened during that time. So, it's definitely intersected for sure. And even during the antebellum period with slavery, you had enslaved Black people that were forced to teach and indoctrinate the Christian religion onto other enslaved people, and it was used as a form of control and to oppress that group of people at that time. So that's just what happened, and it's connected. We need to know about it too. It doesn't mean that Christians today are doing this type of stuff or anything like that. I don't want to put that out there, but I do want to say that this is fact and this is history and this is what happened.
I definitely can say you probably had the most compelling, dopest class there.
Thank you.
Man, he come with these questions. He would like to know: do you feel that if each race faced their own problems, that they could better understand other races?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that if we learn to listen to, because communication is more than just verbally talking to someone. It's also listening. Listening is a way of communicating as well, because you're receiving the message and you're interpreting it, and you're interpreting it based on your own experiences in this world. So that's why some people don't believe certain things, because their experiences are completely different than the other person that they're disagreeing with, And so I think that I don't obviously know how to solve the world's problems, but I do know that if we decided to actually respect one another and listen to each other and talk and really understand what the person's experience and where they're coming from and why they feel the way that they feel, I think that we could be in a better place, because it just seems like it's at the point where people just don't even want to, if you don't believe what I believe, then I don't even want to associate with you. That's kind of what it seems like.
And that forms a dead society, because you got to have different opinions.
Absolutely. If everyone thought the same, then what? We all be doing the same thing. And so it's just not. So then I also think about it from this perspective too. Like with my students, I've noticed that in my I've only been teaching here for like 2 weeks now, but with the students in my class, when we have like discussion day, they have to be encouraged to speak. Because they just don't, they're so scared to be censored. They're so scared to say the wrong thing. They're so scared to even talk about like Black and white people and to say those words. Like they don't know what's right and what's wrong or anything like that. So I'm over here just really encouraging the students to express themselves, but also trying to guide them with like how they can feel comfortable doing that as well. And I think it's just because they've been in their bubbles. They're so used to where their friend groups may be diverse, and probably not, but everybody's kind of like in their social circles where they feel so comfortable and all of that. And so me introducing them to these different kinds of, just them walking in and hearing instrumental reggaeton music, you know, like that's probably different. And maybe they haven't really heard that music before, or maybe it's just introducing them to something different. You know, I played Bollywood type music as well too, right? And so it's like different kinds of just world music, like you're saying. And that in itself will open up their minds. I had it yesterday or Thursday, I had this prompt where I asked them, what do they believe freedom is? And they were at a loss of words. And so I finally, after like kind of like pulling it out of them, I had different people say freedom can be going into a store and not thinking that someone's gonna, or a clerk's gonna think that you stole something. You know, freedom can be driving in a car without being scared that you're gonna get pulled over and not survive. Freedom can be just being able to say what you want to say and feel comfortable with it, or date who you want to date. Like it's just, it varied so much with what they were saying. And I love that conversation. And then I showed them a video clip of other people from around the world and what they thought freedom was too. And so I said to them, I'm like, well, we're in the United States, aren't we free? And they had to really grapple with that idea of what is freedom. And freedom means so many different things to so many different people. So it's like, when you think about who you're voting for politicians, what it really is their perspective of freedom, right? Because that's going to impact the society in which we live too.
You remember Rand's house?
Yeah. Huh?
You remember Rand's house on Cass?
Yeah.
I used to be in there for the accounting tutoring lab.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
She was a tutor, and we had some of the. When I look back on it, the origin of the shows I'm doing now, because we would talk about everything, and people have questions,
right?
And you know, okay, I'm white. I don't know, why do black people get treated like this? And it's like, really want to know? Right. All right, woo. Well, let me ask you this, like, oh wow, I ain't. No one ever said that to me. Like, it's cool. I mean, it's good to ask, so, and we need to pass the knowledge so we can keep the society going. So you don't keep thinking whatever someone that's not of good heart told you, and you actually ask someone. So you, I guess you're right. It's more feel like, oh, I want them to cut me off, even ask questions, because some people don't know.
Absolutely.
It might be just one color there. So they
don't
know.
Yeah. And I was raised to ask questions. My dad's always like, ask questions. And so I've always been, I was probably asking too many questions. I feel bad for my mom and dad sometimes, because I was asking like, what is this? And what is that? And like all of that. But it really helped. It actually installed the I think that investigative mindset that I have now, because that's what researchers are. We're investigators essentially. And so I'm always asking questions. You have to have your hypothesis for certain, for like the hard science and stuff too. But for me, it's like you're asking, well, what does this do? And so for my particular work, I look at how art, so specific in material objects like museums and monuments and other types of objects and spaces are helping us to remember racial violence, but also showing like how is it connected how is the past connected to the present as well, and potentially could inform the future of what we could be looking at, what we could be dealing with. And so it's been very interesting to me to go to the spaces like my artifacts that I looked at was the Whitney Plantation, Louisiana, the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, and the Legacy Museum in Alabama, and a film called Always in Season by Jacqueline Olive, who was about, I don't know if you remember this story or not, but it was in 2014, a boy named L.L.C, who was African-American, he was 17 years old, was found hanging on a swing set in Bladenboro, North Carolina. And that was in 2014. And of course, they said it was suicide.
That were hanging across the country.
Texas was another one during that time. Yeah.
Like,
so, you know,
another few places like, wait a minute.
And this is
we ain't going back.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Another question, because your class is very compelling. Do you feel that the respect of honor and integrity are the same in different races, or is it different?
I think that it's performed differently. Okay. I do, because if you're thinking about like Asian cultures, honor is everything. to them and their their country. And like for here in the United States, it's honor to me. I don't feel that it's held to that same level. When it's
No.
like honor integrity of yourself, of your parents, of your aunts, sisters, all of that. Like I don't see that. So yeah, I think it is different for everyone and everywhere. And so, and I think that's also shows how specific societies are ran and why they are ran the way that they are ran, and why there's more issues maybe in certain ones than other ones too. So yeah, I think it's different.
Now, did Wayne State, you feel, really prepare you with all the teaching you did there leading up to where you are now and learning?
Absolutely. I think Eastern Michigan and Wayne State did that for me, because Eastern, Doris Fields, Dr. Doris Fields, I'm going to shout her out, but she was one of the reasons why I was actually able, she introduced the idea of graduate teaching assistantship to me.
Okay.
And I didn't even know about it. I was just going through the program and knowing that I was going to be getting my doctorate next. But she's like, have you ever heard of this? And I'm like, no. So she introduced it to me. And the following year, I applied for it. I got it. And then I was teaching my first public speaking class. And it was, once I was in the classroom, I'm like, this is it. This is what I need to be doing. This was home to me. And so then I just kept going. And Wayne State definitely was even a step higher for me, because I had more options to teach different classes and courses. And I even taught in the African American Studies department as well. So that opened my world, because I hadn't really learned my history. Like most Black people don't learn their history. You kind of have to do it yourself. So being there and being able to teach a class on Black political thought, and really being introduced to like all these different abolitionists and activists and their speeches, and like just all the different movements, really ignited a flame in me and my activism and what I do and what I wanted to do, and just got me so excited for teaching this type of work in the future.
Now, there's some segments to promote, Mark. Anything you got going on and coming up?
Yeah, so I have a business. It's called Ariel Solutions, and it's actually a product line of me and my husband's business, which is called Seay-Howard Healers. And you actually, for Seay-Howard Healers, my husband is an exercise physiologist and Tai Chi. He's a certified Tai Chi instructor, I Chi, which is Tai Chi in the water. And he does a lot of holistic type of exercises and healing. And he also does personal training. And then I do consulting, whether it be like DE&I efforts and communication, all of that kind of stuff. So we're in the middle of getting our website together for that one, but you can reach out to us at Seay-Howard Healers, spelled S as in Sam, E as in Edward, AY, HOWARD, Healers, HEALERS @gmail.com. And we can send you over some package deals and things like that. But the product sign is Ariel Solutions, and Ariel Solutions came about because over COVID, it's when it really was birthed, like a lot of things that people were doing, because we just had so much time on our hands. And and so I've always dealt with skin issues like most people, because especially living in Michigan at the time, the winters can be really hard on your skin. And so I just started making my own products, because I was really tired of buying just different lotions and different soaps and things and then breaking me out. And it was always kind of like I was a test dummy. I didn't know what was going to happen to my skin. So I had always been making things like, my culinary background. And then also when I was little, I used to like make lip glosses where I just like connect them all together, all the lip glosses I had. And that was like me making lip gloss. But it was something that I really enjoyed doing, was just like making my own products. So I decided to just make some body butter, make my own soap. And my mom and my grandma and my sister's mother-in-law started actually like buying from me. I didn't know that this was actually going to be something that I turned into a business, but they started buying from me and telling me how much they really enjoyed my products. And so I decided to go with it. I made a website, and this is like my body butter here. It's vanilla. It's all natural. It's made with, I know it's kind of light. It's kind of hard to see it, but it's made with mango butter, shea butter, fresh vanilla bean, aloe vera gels in there too. And I have all the ingredients on my website, which I'll tell you in a minute how you can get there. And then my soap, this is just an aloe shea butter soap, and it's a Shea soap
Wow.
pour that I use. So there's no lye in it. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. It's just a Shea butter soap pour, and then I actually take aloe vera leaves, open them up, and I drain them out, and then I blend it up and actually add the fresh aloe in the soap here, and just add jasmine essential oil, and it's the most natural soap. We love it in our household. That's all we use. My family loves it. My friends, this is probably one of my best sellers here, actually. And then I have a flaxseed gold, which is just flaxseed gel, literally made from flax seeds. And it turns into like a jelly consistency. And then you can put this on your hair to do twist outs. If you have natural hair, you can put it on your hair if you just want to do like a wash and go. If you have, it's all for all hair types. Like my husband uses it as like just a gel for his hair, and it keeps his hair where he wants it and styled the way he wants it. But it's also really good for your scalp, and flax seeds are so nourishing for your hair. And so it grows your hair, it thickens your hair, and it keeps that shine for your hair too. And I have other products as well. My ingredients are, I always wanted to use ingredients that I could eat them if I wanted to. So like if I'm like, if I can eat these ingredients, which I don't want you guys eating these, like don't eat this lotion, but like you can eat mangoes, and this is mango butter. You know, you see, you get that. So you can eat flax seeds, right? Like, don't eat my products, but put them on your skin though, and enjoy them, because that's what they're meant to be. And I tried to make it as affordable as possible as well. So we're in North Carolina now though, but we still sell to online shops. So you can go to arielsolutions.com, spelled ARIELS, and then SOLUTIONS.com. And you'll get 5% off your first order. Just use the code that I have on there. I think it's called First Time or something like that. But yeah, so
it's 2 S's.
Yeah, so it'll be Ariel, so ARIELS. And then SOL, solutions, and then S at the end of solutions.
And put that up here quickly. It's crazy. My guest yesterday has a business with soap and other stuff.
Really? That's great.
I spelled everything right?
Yep, that's right.
All right. Yeah, that's amazing. You got anything else going on?
Oh, what don't I have going on? No, it's I mean, business wise, that's about it. But other than that, you can find me on LinkedIn as well. It's Dr. Ariel Seay-Howard, and you can reach out to me there if you want to connect in any way. And then I can also send you my email address through that too, and we can connect. But other than that, I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now.
Okay. And if you saw the post from yesterday episode, I'm gonna put all that in the latest episode. I will screenshot from my Spotify episode, whatever, so you can get all that stuff to reach out to me.
Wonderful.
Oh, told you. I need that Yoda game at the end, so mark it. They know you're nice out here. Now we have. I guess before we go to that question, Doug wanted to know how much.
Oh, you can go on. I try to be affordable. I mean, you can go online though, because I can't incorporate tax, but right now in my head, so I wouldn't want to.
Price.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the original price is usually like $2 a bar for soap, or I have like a 6 for $10 deal for my soaps, and then the body butter is $30. Then I also have you can consult with me too, and I can teach you how to I can create a hair regime for you as well, like a hair routine or like a face routine and stuff. Because sometimes we just don't know how to manage and take care of and have an actual routine that's going to help with our hair and all of that stuff.
Family say love the products, and they got a question.
Right? Yeah, my mom. Thanks, Mom.
Okay.
I think she keeps me in business. Honestly, I don't know, but
shout out to Mom, because question she has for you: how does it feel to be walking with truth at this stage of your life?
It feels so good. I was just saying that the other day to myself, that I just can't believe that I feel this fulfilled in my soul. I feel really good. Even though it started kind of different and weird and I felt bad, I felt like I wasted my time with a culinary arts degree and stuff and money and all of that, but I still cook for my friends and family. And also it taught me it's interesting because following a recipe is very similar to following or creating a lesson plan. So it's very similar. So there's still like a lot of things that I learned, especially managing. I had to take management classes in culinary school and organizational classes and stuff. And all of that, you have to manage a classroom. You have to manage your time. You have to do all of that. So it's all transferable. So being able to do what I believe I'm destined to do as my purpose is very fulfilling for me. And it keeps me going every day. It's like, yeah, it's a job. So at the same time, you're going to be a little stressed and you're going to be tired, but then you still have that to fall back on, that this is what I need to be doing for myself right now and for others too.
Okay. Now, what has been your biggest challenge on your journey?
I would say getting in my own way, honestly, because I just fear has been something that has been so hard for me to just like move past sometimes. Like I'll feel like if something new happens where someone wants me to speak, or if I have to go to a conference I haven't been to before and present my work, I get terrified before it even happens because I'm like, am I going to be prepared? Is this going to be okay? Or are people going to grill me? Do I even know what I'm talking about? Like I have all of these different thoughts that'll get in my head. And we used to call it the imposter syndrome, but we still call it the imposter syndrome a little bit. And I had dealt with that in the past. My coworker now and good friend, Dr. Rico Self, he's said to me so many times now that imposter syndrome does not exist, because he's had an experience where he felt the imposter syndrome, but then he was like in grad school and he was looking at other people's papers because they had to do that for grading. And it was like peer review, and he saw other people were struggling too. And he's like, so this is all just, we're all in it together. We're all just trying to figure it out. That's it. That is it. And so that was my biggest challenge, I think, was just getting it out of my own way so that I could really decrease the stress that I was putting on myself and continue to just like walk in my truth and move forward and do what I need to do with clarity rather than that fear clouding my own judgment and my vision for how I see myself and how I see the work that I do.
I feel that. And I mean, anything great that you're destined to do that you ain't seen nobody do it. Yeah, devil don't want you to do it, so he definitely gonna say, "Hey, you're gonna suck. Don't do it. You're gonna fall on your face. Don't even try." They're gonna have to say it through your people. You want to do what?
Yeah.
Man, you ain't never met no teacher. You can't do that.
Right.
Everybody kid rock. I can do whatever God said I can do on this planet. So that's my purpose. I'm going to figure it out, do the research, start grinding, and I'm going to get there.
Right. And then having
get up. You're going to get there.
Yeah. Having my community of mentors as well. That has been seeing all different like women of color doing what I'm doing and having them as my mentors has been huge for me. And, men of color too. And the non-people of color that have still helped me as well. And that has been, and plus my family support, I don't believe I would be where I am today if I didn't have all of my network of my social network, my husband, my educational network as well. And my mentors have turned friends, but they're still my mentors. They're still checking in on me. And I don't want to fail them either. Like I want to keep going for myself, for my family, for my ancestors, it's not just me that's in this. It's more than just that to me. And that keeps me motivated as well.
Awesome. In your words, what has been your impact in the community?
Oh, wow. No one's ever asked me that question before. Wow. I think just like shining light on the topics that I talk about and doing it in creative ways. And then also making it accessible for academics as well too, because that's my huge part is like community building and connecting. I like to connect people. I like to network. I like to build communities, and I like to also help heal communities. And I think I can help heal communities through my communication, but also through my research as well. So I think my research has had a big impact. Is starting to have a big impact. But I think my students too. Like when I see my students leave the classroom versus when they came into the class, it's just so cool to see how much they've grown and to see how more confident they are in the topic. And that's all I really want for them, is to know that they can make a difference with their own voices as well, giving them the tools to do that. And then also now being a mentor to them too.
Yeah, I definitely got to say Kim Morgan, who I call Yoda, and Stacey Lynn Cramp. Kim helped me figure out math, how to study it, so I could go through the management, all the business classes. Yeah. And Stacey helped me figure out all that accounting, because I was just dunking on me, pushed me to the ground. Like, get your weight up, punk. This ain't for you. Like, man, I'm gonna pass. I can count numbers.
Right.
Shout out.
It's just how you're taught. Everybody learns differently, and you just have to find someone that's willing to show patience to you and actually teach you and learn the way that you learn, and then teach you the way that you learn, because the standard way is not a one size fits all for everybody. So I try to incorporate so many different ways of learning in my class. You know, we're going to have a field trip where we actually go to a museum and we actually like look at these different artifacts in the museum, and I'm teaching them how to analyze that specific thing that they're interested in, you know. So there's an actual interactive going into the field type of way of learning. Then there's the lecturing part, where what I do, and then I show videos to back up what I'm saying, and that's the visual part. So there's just so many different ways that people learn. And I think we have to start as professors, teachers, instructors, we have to start adapting to our students and to our audience, not so much them having to always adapt to us.
Oh yeah, and I figured out. I dunked on and broke the bat, boy. Like, get off!
Like I got this, right? It feels good though, doesn't it? Yep. Like I just like walk around hands up, like I did this. Actually, I just lay on the floor, honestly, and I'm just so happy.
It was a magical breaking the backboard, dunking all. Right. Like, get out my way. Right. I know it's not.
Flipping tables.
Gone.
Right.
Let them know.
That's so cool, though. That's awesome. Congrats to you. That's huge.
Oh yeah, and I can finish mine up in August 2020. So we had a lot of feeling it, because we in the pandemic. Like, look here, man. Yeah. I don't give a damn if this planet blow up.
Right.
The hell show, to be real. I need this degree.
I'm gonna finish. Right.
Then it can do what you're gonna do after that. But I come too far. And everybody thinks, you know, Jeff, you're right. Like, I don't care what the hell going on. We come too far. We gotta get this. We all down that grind, like, and my theme song was Outkast, Get Up and Get Out. The rest of that
yes.
Dog, get out and go get it.
Yes. Mine to this day is Rick Ross, Hustling. That's my
okay.
That is it. I have a whole playlist, but that's my go-to. That is my go-to.
Now, when I had days like, oh man, I'm tired. We gotta present. I need to park. It ain't easy today, man.
Right.
I gotta take a nap. I get up here and talk with y'all. What we talking about again? What's my part?
I know.
Dude, I've been stripping floors, doing overtime. Dude, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Snap out, get back to it.
Yeah.
I get that piece of paper. I still gotta get my championship belt made too.
Yeah.
Get my Ric Flair light belt made, Wayne State University, Mike Illett School of Business Management champion belt. Gotta get that boy made.
Absolutely. It's necessary. Absolutely.
I'm gonna cut me a promo with that boy in my hand. Only like Ric Flair could do. This is what it's about. You paid a price to get this. You're gonna do it, whatever you're doing, you better go hard for it. Quit playing.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
Teach yourself out here. Anybody tell you can't do it, tell them to shut up.
Right.
You ain't even trying. You scared to even try what you really want to do. Shut up talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm out here in the trenches.
Yeah.
Now that Yoda game, what advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
So I can't, obviously I don't have like this is how you find your purpose. You know, I don't have like a book for it or anything, or like haven't done that research. Don't know. But I can say though, that I think that we all come here with gifts and talents. And I think once you figure out so normally I feel like a gift or a talent is something that you're just usually naturally good at, or something you're drawn to. And so I think using it to help humanity, help our society thrive, grow, progress, just get better, heal. I believe that is how you can stumble into your purpose, I think. because I think that's what happened to me. That's my experience. I went towards race and culture and communication and all of that because I was drawn to it. I originally went into culinary arts because I loved learning about different cuisines and different foods, and all of that. So that was like that culture part for me. And then just doing it in this new way is still what I was drawn to and what I love. But now I'm just doing it to help our humanity the best way I can, doing what I can, using my platform to do what I can. So yeah, and that's how I found my purpose.
That's some great game. God is funny because my dad was a pastor. I'm like, you supposed to be pastoring? I don't know about that, bro.
Right, right.
Get on my head like, hey, check this out. I need you to help you find a purpose. So I know introvert. I don't care. Deal with people. Figure this thing out. And it went like maybe a month ago. Like, I'll be down. He got me doing ministry work.
Wow.
That dude crafty.
That's awesome.
He got me doing it. Now, awesome. Shout out to your parents because we got another one for you.
Oh.
One more question. What footprint are you seeking to leave on the planet as your legacy from your dad?
From Dad. Thanks, Mom, for relaying that for Dad. Or Dad. No, that was Dad probably that actually might have typed that up. So I would say that I think one of the main things is going to be my work that I leave behind. So people will be citing me. People will be using my, theories that I create or methodologies that I create, or just work that I've done in the community, in the academic community, I believe, but also like visually. I think down the road with I'm getting more into film, and documentary work and stuff like that. I want that type of work to be everlasting as well. And when people think of me, I want them to think of someone who really was an activist and actually made some change, like within ideas too. Like my ideas, like I want those to be everlasting as well. So I do think that would be the footprint that I leave as of now. It could obviously change and morph a little bit, but I think right now that's what I believe.
Awesome.
Thank you for that question.
Man, it's been a fun one.
This is great.
Making these reels on this one. There's a lot of information right here. That's some good stuff, though. Good stuff. This your first podcast ever interview?
No, I was actually on one before, but so yeah, I think so. This is the second one, I would say.
Okay. Well, did I live up to the tagline? Make you feel like family, comfortable?
You did make me feel like family. I feel like I've known you forever. So this was great. Thank you so much.
I'm never perfect, but this is perfect. I want everybody to come in.
Yeah.
All right, put my feet up, reflect on. I've done some cool stuff. How can I get some game away?
Right. Right. I like that. And fellow Detroiter.
Yep, dope.
A Michigander. Yeah.
You're in there Kakalaka right now.
Right.
That's your sister. Family showing up.
Thanks, fam. Thanks, fam.
That's dope.
Oh, I love you guys. And thanks everyone for showing up, whoever came on and listened, and the questions. Doug.
Yeah.
Doug was holding it down. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, that's it. He country boy from Georgia. He's
okay.
He's personality.
Not too far from me now, because I'm in North Carolina, so that's cool.
Now, I do a panel show Saturdays at 10:30 where I cover all type of topics. I'm looking this season to maybe cover race type stuff. Would you be willing to be a panelist?
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Absolutely. Thank you for the invite.
I don't know. I'm just watching how this unfold. Like, she's on that show. Top it up, That's fun. Yeah. Comfort at your home. You got that doctor.
Yes.
Like, So you speaking right. We bring the game to you.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Just let me know.
Okay. Well, definitely.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for willing to be on a panelist. I'm gonna hit you up now. I got your number. Like, hey,
right.
Don't play no games now. We from Detroit. We keep it real.
I know. Trust me. I keep it real. I have no other way to be. No other way to be.
Now I know y'all talk smack so that's how. So you opening the door to people, treat them right, and then they kick you down the stairs. That's how they do you. And if you ain't right, you know, it's all right. My feelings ain't hurt. It's okay. Talk about you then.
No, don't worry. I'll keep it real with you.
True, but I definitely appreciate fellow Wayne State University alum and North Carolina State University assistant professor, Dr. Ariel E. Seay-Howard.
Seay-Howard. Yep.
Seay-Howard.
Yeah.
So you really see so far.
Yeah, it's just like the letter C. People want to do too much with the Y, but
yeah, that A throwing off. Okay, don't
I'm like, it's for the hooked on phonics people, it's the sometimes Y for that one. So just think of the SEA. Don't even worry about the Y, and you'll be saying
Dr.
it right.
Ariel E. Seay-Howard.
There we go. That's it.
Her journey, her knowledge. She's gonna be on the ground floor show at some point, giving them more of that. I have experts on the show now. We big time. We do it like that.
Nice. That's exciting.
I hope you had a great time.
I did. Thank you.
I look forward to pop in that class one day. Like, okay, you got on YouTube something to watch.
Come on through. Let me know. Yeah, we could do some Zoom for sure. Absolutely.
Definitely sit in on that for real. That's kind of dope. Absolutely. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend and your holiday.
Yeah, happy Labor Day. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll still be working till about Sunday morning making reels. But that's the grind.
I'm not doing anything.
There you go. I'm finding some me time in there. I'm finding some. You gotta find balance.
You should. You definitely should for sure.
Balance. You know, watch some cartoons or something, listen to music, write a song.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You know. But definitely enjoy yourself. Appreciate you. And I'll put all this up and I'll tag you in it on LinkedIn and all this stuff.
Okay. Thank you so much. You have a good night. Bye, everyone.
And you're always welcome back.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.